Hello and welcome to Sincerely Elvis Presley. I'm Sean. If this is your first time to the channel, great to have you here. If it isn't your first time, welcome back. In my last video, I looked at a 3-volume book set called The Ultimate Elvis, and I explained that it's very hard to get your hands on these days and can command some quite high prices. What I should have mentioned is it is available for purchase digitally. So if you go to Keith Flynn's website, and I'll put a link below, you can pick up a digital copy of that book set for just £60, which I think is an absolute bargain. Highly recommend that you do that if you want a copy. So today I want to look at another 3-volume book set, this time looking at the world of Follow That Dream. What's Follow That Dream, you might ask, if you're new to the channel and maybe new to the world of Elvis? Well, Follow That Dream is a collector's label, cleverly named after Elvis's 9th movie, that was set up in 1999. The main driving forces behind the label are Ernst Jorgensen and Roger Seaman. The theory behind it was basically to provide collectors with material that they'd never had before, or material that was very, very hard to get hold of. But I guess underlying that, the agenda was to try and undercut the bootleggers and put them out of business, because if you provide the material officially, why would anyone need to get that material on the black market, so to speak? But anyway, 1999, the label starts, and initially it starts with single CDs, providing concerts that have not been released before, unreleased outtakes from sessions, that kind of thing. And that carried on till 2001, when the label dipped its toes into releasing books with a book called The Way It Was, based around the movie That's the Way It Is, which came with a CD and was quite a small volume in comparison what was to come later. So 2003, the label starts with what it called the Classic Album Series. Now, what the Classic Album Series does, it takes an album released in Elvis's lifetime, presents it in its original form, but you also get outtakes and various bits and pieces from that session. Usually, I've got an example here. So this is the Back in Memphis album. Rather than in standard CD case form, these are in sort of 7-inch format, with usually a trifold cover. Usually come with 2 CDs and a really nice informative booklet, and you get the first CD with the original album in its context, and then you get usually it presents first takes of each of the songs, and then the second disc will have multiple different outtakes from those sessions. So great series, Classic Album Series. So you've got soundboard live recordings, you've got outtakes CDs, you've got the Classic Album Series. But then in 2009, they hit upon their real big cash cow, and that was starting to release vinyl albums, alternative versions of albums that had been released in Elvis's lifetime, on a similar theme to the classic albums, in that you would have the original album and then selected outtakes. But boy, did those vinyls take off. The first one was Blue Hawaii in 2009, and some of those, I think the second one was Standing Room Only. You can be £500 to £1,000 for some of those albums now. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Absolutely amazing. Helped, I guess, by the resurgence in vinyl around, guess, the same sort of trajectory. Late 2009 into the 2010s. So yeah, that probably would have helped it, but I don't think anyone saw the demand that there was coming. And the thing about Follow That Dream, they put out a release, it has a limited run, and then that's it. It doesn't carry on getting repressed, whether that's the CDs, the books, the vinyl, whatever. If you don't get it at the time, you don't get it, or you pay through the nose in the secondary market once it's been out. There's the odd exception to that. They have produced the odd 1 or 2 that they've repressed, but not many. In fact, they seem to be doing that more recently, which I know a lot of people are not very impressed about, myself included. I don't think it's the right thing to do. If it's a one-shot release, it's a one-shot release, and that's how it should stay. Anyway, the last in the development of their types of releases came in 2018, when they started releasing box sets of entire sessions, advertised as complete sessions. But if you go over to the Elvis Archival Preservation Society channel, Jamie and John will put you right on that, because the sessions are not always complete, despite the fact they're advertised as that. In fact, if you do get a chance, check out the EAP Society. I'll stick a link down below for you. Okay, so that's Follow That Dream. It's hard. I think there's probably around 264 releases combined across the box sets, the vinyl, the books, etc. Something like that. It's kind of hard. I did try and total it all up, but their numbering system's really weird, and it kind of jumps. Suddenly it will jump from in the hundreds to the 300s. Now that's probably how they catalogue vinyl against CD or whatever. But yeah, I couldn't get a straight calculation on exactly, but I think it's somewhere in the 260s, something like that. So what if you would like a complete record of all the FTDs, and you know, have a look at them in detail, decide which kind of ones you might like, which you know, what they offer, etc., etc. Well, it just so happens here we have the book set for you. Now, this book set is even heavier than the one I featured in my last video. This is a beast. So, well, it's a beauty as well, but it's a beast in terms of lifting it. So I do apologise. I did notice last time that every time I put something down on this desk, the camera wobbles. So, you know, I hope you're not feeling queasy, because that could well be the case again, because trying to get this out is not going to be easy. So this again is a beautifully slipcase book, beautifully put together. Some real thought gone into this. Slipcase itself is a lot thinner than the previous one that I showed you, though, by some margin. It's very thin card. It's a bit like a cornflake packet, so could have been a bit more substantial there, guys, but small complaint. So let me caveat what I'm about to show you by saying that this isn't complete just by the fact of when it came out. This came out in 2017 and was complete up to the time. But obviously, you know, we're 7 years down the line now, and FTD do put quite a lot of releases out. So, you know, this isn't up to... In fact, you know, I think it's probably due another volume if anyone out there with the influence is listening. But anyway, in terms of who put this together, 3 of the same guys that put the Ultimate Elvis together. So you've got publisher and Elvis photo archivist Eric Lawrenson. You've got Keith Flynn from Keith Flynn's Elvis Sessions site. Lots and lots of knowledge there on all things to do with recording sessions, releases, all things Elvis. Same goes for Piers Beagley, one of the main forces behind the Elvis Information Network site, and again, a hugely knowledgeable guy. Piers is actually very shortly going to be putting his own books out, set of books about Elvis in print, and I think the first one on Elvis in comic books is due very, very shortly. So yeah, look out for that. So yeah, Keith Flynn's site, Elvis Information Network, I'll put links down below for you. Right, let's try and get these out without wobbling the camera too much. Get rid of the slipcase. So what have we got? Volume 1. Now, there we go, Volume 1, and they go in chronological order of the releases. So, look at that. That's just a sort of overlay of, oops, some of the FT. Hello, it's all falling apart now, isn't it? You should have planned this better, I hear you say. Rubbish. I'll get better, hopefully. Right, there you go. Just some of the titles. Brilliant. Yeah, there's some of the books. Right. So we start 1999, the very first FTD release, Burbank 68. At the time, unreleased performances from the 68 special. And what you get, in a similar way to the Ultimate Elvis Sessions book, you get details of all the musicians, what it is that the CD actually features. You get selected notes about particular tracks. But more than that, you then get really, really comprehensive reviews of each of those releases. They'll be from various sources, some of them from the Elvis Information Network site, some of them from various publications like Elvis the Man and His Music. But yeah, basically you see the release in detail chronologically. So Out in Hollywood was the second FTD release. It's not just that though, you're not just seeing that. There's a fantastic wealth of beautiful photographs in this book. It's again a title that's been put together, sorry about the slapping of the pages there, but put together with considerable thought and care. And if you want a record of all the FTD releases, certainly up until 2017, you can't do better than this. This is a great set to own. Catalogue, reference point, call it what you will. But yeah, due to the massive hefty size of these, it's split into 3 volumes. Just look at that. Stunning. Can't recommend this highly enough. It's one of those book sets, unlike the Ultimate Elvis set. This is easier to get hold of. It turns up more often. In fact, I think you can still get it brand new off certain Elvis dealer sites. You're looking at, I think it's somewhere around the £130 mark, and you could probably pick up a brand new one for that. So it's not, it's expensive, but it's not completely unreachable. You know, it's within the realms for 3 hefty books, and they really are hefty old volumes. Now, it's interesting because one of the criticisms levelled at this book set at the time was that there was no real index of the titles. So if you were looking, say if you thought to yourself, so yeah, I'm interested in getting a hold of a copy of Elvis Back in Memphis on FTD. Let's have a look at a review of it. Well, unless you knew exactly what order it was released in, you know, you're gonna wade through all these trying to find it because there was no index. However, in response to that criticism, Keith Flynn did make available for download an index which you could print off and put in the book yourself. So at least you could have a chance of finding what you wanted if you didn't want to go through it all. So as an example then, what I said, Back in Memphis, we should be on Back in Memphis, there we go. 7-inch 2x CD classic album. So that is page 864, volume 3. And I just so happen to have volume 3 in my hands here. So 864. Sorry about this, it's hardly a spectator sport watching someone trying to count, is it? There we go. 864, Back in Memphis, the CD I just showed you. So you get all the details laid out for you there. And then some relevant notes. And then, in this case, a review by Troy Yeary from pastimescapes.com. So you can find out what somebody thought of it in considerable detail, which helps you if it's a purchase you're thinking of making. And you get that review going across several pages with some great photographs to accompany it from the time. So yeah, and then you get an overall verdict, which in this case was 2 long blasts on the train whistle, highest rating. Like it. So there you have it. Bit of a shorter video this time, but thought I'd give this a little outing for everyone to see. You don't necessarily have to be a collector of the FTD label to appreciate that book volume at all. You know, you find out all sorts of information about those albums, as they, you know, most of them were original albums in Elvis's lifetime, so you're finding out about the album, but just with a bit of icing on the cake of the new versions through the collector's label. Plus it's peppered with brilliant photographs and laid out really nicely. So again, you know, more affordable, I'd say, than the volume I featured in my last episode, and well worth a look if you haven't got it already. Anyway, what do you think? Did you get this? Did you like it? Love to know in the comments. Is it something you'd like to get? If you did like the video, please hit the like. And if you'd like to see more of these, it'd be great if you could subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload new content. So, my next video, I'm going to be paying tribute to an Elvis author that we sadly lost last year, and looking at 3 of the books he actually produced for the Follow That Dream label. So, till then, ta-da.
We'll meet you again. May God bless you. Adios.